Thank you for volunteering to be one of the testers of my yoga DVD. And what I'm hoping that you'll be able to tell me if this is challenging, but it still is beginner and it's easy to understand, and you'll gain some strength and flexibility from it. So I'm going to follow kind of some notes that I have here. When we actually do the real filming, it will be filmed outside, and there will be lots of video of the horses grazing and galloping in between me holding poses, because you don't want to stare at me for a minute. But in this video, you have no choice but to look at me the whole time. So sorry about that. That's why you're the testers. And the final video also, I'll be doing a voiceover after the filming, whereas in this one, I'm going to have to talk while I'm doing the poses, so my final script is not perfect yet. So, that in mind, make sure that you get your dog on the mat and your yoga mat. And the first thing we're going to do is stand in mountain pose. And mountain pose is where our hips and our heels are just about, our feet are about hip distance apart. Go ahead and put your hand on your belly and your hand on your chest. And we're just going to take 4 or 5 deep breaths. Yoga is an opportunity to center ourselves, to increase our own body awareness, and that in turn will increase your ability to sense your horse, to sense his moods, and to put you in greater touch with your horse. So we're going to do half sun salutations. We'll start with prayer hands. Inhale up. And let's go ahead with a big bend in our knees. I want you to come forward, knees against your chest, chest against your knees, and knees stay bent. Lifting up, inhale, exhale down, and reach up again. Back to prayer hands, and again. Inhale up, big bend in the knees, exhale down. Inhale up, exhale down, and reach up. A couple more of these at your own pace. Make sure that your knees are bent. The reason we're keeping our knees bent is because it's a beginner practice, and we want time for our body to warm up. We'll do 2 more. Exhale down, chest against your knees, lifting up, down, and reach up. Back to prayer hands, and 1 more. Now we're going to add to lunge salutes. Right leg comes back. We'll do this first one very slowly so you know the moves. Our right leg is back, a 90-degree angle with the knee, the left knee, and you're going to step back into downward dog. Your hands are right below your shoulders. Again, on your toes, knees are bent. Stretch your fingers out. And you can lower your heels toward the ground. They do not need to touch the ground. Bend knees again. We're going to scoot forward. And we're going to do Cobra. You can do Cobra a small amount, or you can take Cobra up to your comfort level. From Cobra, we'll do Downward Dog. Stepping forward with the left. We've got our 90-degree angle again. Oops, we should have stepped forward with the right. That's okay. Step forward, bend the knees, and roll up. And exhale back. All right, the next sun salutations, we'll do 4 of them. We'll be just a little bit faster. We want to warm up our body. Inhale, exhale down. Right foot comes back. Stretch, look up. Exhale into downward dog. Knees are bent. Come forward into cobra and lift. Step back into downward dog. Right foot comes forward. Remember the 90-degree angle. And step forward with the left foot. Bend the knees and come up. And again. Bend your legs. Step back with the right foot. Looking up. Downward dog. Bend your knees. Scooping forward. Exhale down. Right leg comes forward. Step forward with the left, bend your knees, and reach up. We'll do 2 more. Last one. Reach up, prayer hands, and here we go again. Inhale up, bend the knees, exhale down, right foot back, stretch, downward dog, bend your knees, coming forward into cobra, and again, cobra can be here or farther up, wherever you're comfortable. Push back to downward dog. Right foot comes forward. Look forward. Last one. And stretch up. From here, we're going to do cat-cow, which will help loosen up our hips. I hope that your bodies are a little bit warmed up after that. So hands come on the knees. And we're going to inhale up, we arch, and press down. Pressing. So let's exhale and inhale. Exhale and inhale. As riders, our hips get very tight. So anything that we can do to increase the flexibility of our lower back and our hip flexors will help. You can do these at your own pace. Last one, we roll up. Shake it out a little bit. I'm going to set my timer. I'm setting the timer, you know, we're about to get serious. So the first thing we're going to do now that our body's warmed up is increase a little bit of our strength, but also our concentration, and do some balancing poses. So let's come onto your right foot. We're going to do tree pose, and you can either take your foot to your ankle, your calf, your knee, or all the way up to your groin. When you press your hands in, it will help you maintain your balance. And ideally, you want to be gazing just softly at something a few feet ahead of you on the floor. You can reach up with your hands together, or you can have them apart. Tilt your hips slightly forward, tailbone comes forward. Keep holding. Back to prayer hands. Before we come down, you can bend your right knee, pull your left knee up towards your chest. You can straighten your right leg if you have that flexibility. If not, you can keep it bent. There's one final balance pose. We're We're going to take our leg behind us. I'll turn to the side so you can see. As riders, we use a lot of quadricep muscles, and our hip flexors do get very tight. So this stretch can help loosen our hip flexors. You can stay here, or if you're more advanced and have done yoga before, you can come into dancer's pose. Entirely up to you. Go ahead and shake it out. We'll come to the other side. Plant your weight on your left foot and decide if you're coming to your ankle, your knee, or up to your groin. Pressing the hands together as you raise up. You can keep your hands together or you can move them apart. Again, hip tilts slightly forward, tailbone is tucked under. Protects our lower back. If we arch forward, it puts too much pressure on our lower back. Good job. From here, let's go ahead and pull our right knee up to the chest. And again, you can bend your left leg if you need to, or you can keep it straight. From here, without touching the floor if you can, I'll turn to the side so you can see. Is it okay if you lose your balance? Simply holding our leg here is enough stretch. As long as you're pressing forward with your hips, you'll find that you'll stretch the hip flexor. Sometimes it helps to hold the opposite arm up. Don't hold your breath in this exercise. Keep breathing. Okay, shake the legs out. And now we're going to go into warrior poses. Warrior poses are excellent for strengthening the legs and opening the hips. We're going to start with warrior to the right. So your right toe comes out, the left turns in slightly, and you're going to go ahead and bend your knee. You want your heel in line with either your heel or the instep of your left foot. Lifting your arms up and gaze out over your right fingertips. If you can come down to 90 degrees with the knee, please do. If you need to be up here and you're gaining strength, that's fine as well. One thing you want to think about is to have your knee coming to the outside. It's easy to drop in. We're asking our hips to open and to be straight. Let's come up. We're going to turn the right foot in and the left foot out. Arms come out and down to warrior on the left. Again, keep your body centered. Arms are up and gaze over your left fingertips. If you can reach a 90-degree angle, that's fabulous. If you can't, and need to be up here, that's fine as well. You'll gain strength over time. We're almost there. Excellent. Coming up, let's go ahead and walk the feet in, shake them out. Some of those warrior poses are challenging. We'll step out again. This time we're going to do warrior with our knee on our elbow. So right foot out, left foot slightly in, elbow comes to the knee, and reach up. Would love to have a straight line from your fingertips all the way to your left toe. Think about opening your chest, rolling your hip open, and hold. And again, a 90-degree angle if you can, but higher is fine. You can even come up to the hand here or here. Look up at your hands if that's comfortable for your neck. If it's not, you can look straight ahead. Coming up, we'll do warrior to the other side. So right foot in, left foot out, heels are in line, bend the knee, elbow comes down, and then reaching up. Again, if you can reach a 90-degree angle, that's fabulous. If you need to be up higher, there's nothing wrong with that. Ask your hip to open. Keep holding, we're nearly there. And coming up, we have one more warrior pose. Let's start on the right, so our right foot comes out, left foot comes in, knee is bent again, and this time we're going to do reverse warrior. So you'll take your right arm up. If you need to, you can put your hand on your hip for balance. You're asking your side waist to open and look up at your hand. Last one. Switch your legs. Right foot comes in, left foot comes out. Bend down. And warrior to the other side. Reverse warrior. Left hand up. Open your left waist. Last one. We're going to keep our legs here for a moment. If you've got blocks, now might be a good time to grab your blocks. We're going to do triangle pose. So just like how we start warrior, right foot comes out, left is in. We're going to reach out, stretch as far as you can, and then coming down. You can put your block on the highest point and lift. What you want to think about is your hip opening, your side opening, and reaching tall. And again, you can look up at your hand, or straight out, or you can look down. You may find you get a better stretch if you're lower on the block. Or even if your hand is on the floor. Right knee can be slightly bent. And now we're going to bend that right knee as we come up. Reaching up, both feet are facing forward. And now to the other side. Coming out as far as you can and reaching down. And again, you can use a block. The important part is we're asking our hip to open. Our side is facing the ceiling and our hand reaches up. And And again, you may feel more comfortable with a deeper stretch. Left leg can be bent. I'm hoping when I film this I can get a big digital clock that I can look at far away instead of just a small cell phone. And y'all are probably hoping I would just not time at all. I hope it's hard. Bend your knee, left knee, and come up. Hands on the hips. And from here, we're going to stretch from our straddle position. And again, we can go right down onto blocks. Your hands come directly under your shoulders. Toes are slightly turned in. You want to think about your back being flat. We're asking our gluteus and our hamstrings to begin to stretch. If you're comfortable, you can lower your blocks on the side. Try to keep your neck in line with your shoulders in this pose. Looking up can feel straining. Look down if it's more comfortable. You can come down to the floor if you like. Turn your hands backwards and stretch. Turn your hands facing forward. Walk the knees in. Toe to heel, legs are bent. From here, we're going to crouch down. A small balance pose on your toes. Just hold. This is an excellent strengthener for the feet. And for our mind, for balance and control. And from here, we're going to come onto the floor. The first thing we're going to do is shake our legs out. And then we're going to come into cobbler's pose. And cobbler's pose, you may want to grab a folded blanket and just put it slightly under your seat bones. Can help take some of the pressure off the back. Cobbler's pose, the feet are matched together, slightly out in front of us, and we're going to lift up tall and come slightly forward. You can open your feet like a book. We're asking for space between our vertebrae. It's easy to come forward and just drop our head to our feet, but that's not what we want. We want space and lengthen. We want to be able to breathe easy and deep. Not only does cobbler's pose open the hips, but it increases our inner thigh flexibility. From here, we're going to come up, legs are apart. We're going to be in straddle pose, and again, if you need the small blanket under your buttocks, that's fine. We're going to sit up. For some, you may get the best stretch by putting your hands behind you and lifting up. For others, you may wish to come forward. But again, we're asking for space in our body. I don't want you to round down. I want you to stay up and tall. Wherever it is that you find the edge of that stretch. And we're going to hold here. I'd like you to keep your toes pointing up to the ceiling. And lift and hold. Breathe into these muscles, let them relax. When you feel those muscles relax a little bit, you can come slightly forward. But if at any point you feel you're too close to your edge, simply step back out and sit back a little farther. From here, we're going to bring our left leg in and our right leg forward. So you want to be facing straight ahead. Again, a lot of space, lifting up and reaching forward. If you can grasp your feet, your foot, that's fabulous. If it does not cause strain. If you can come down lower, reaching past your feet, you're welcome to do so. Just stretch to where your edge is. It may be up here, or it may be all the way down. We're holding a lot of these poses for about a minute. It takes that long to develop strength. We held our strengthening poses a minute or so, and we're holding our stretching poses the same amount of time. Especially the larger muscles, the hamstrings, the quadriceps, and all of the muscles that hold our hips in place, they require longer, deeper holding to be able to release. And hips are probably the last and tightest muscle to release. They take the longest in terms of seeing some benefits. But it's certainly worth it. Again, lift up, come forward. Pay attention to the differences in your body. I hurt this hamstring jumping about a year ago and have about half the flexibility as I do with my right. But over time, it's healing and that flexibility is coming back. But I'm careful with an old injury not to push too quickly. If it takes 5 years for my legs to be equal in flexibility again, that's fine. If it never happens, that's fine as well. So recognizing the differences in your own body, just as we do, everyone has a horse who's either right or left-handed, who's stiff to one side or the other. We know it takes time for horses to equalize that strength, just as it does with us. So this is when you wouldn't have to be looking at me and you could be watching beautiful horses from Southern Promise Farm gallop. And then you come back to me just as I'm saying, come up. We're going to put both legs out in front. Let's shake these legs out for a moment. Go ahead and pull the flesh out from under your bottom so you're balanced. And we're going to come forward with both legs. And again, if you can reach your feet past your feet, that's fabulous. If up here and coming forward is a stretch, beautiful. Hold it here. Everybody's body is different, and some of you will find that these forward folds of the hamstrings are very easy and the hip flexors are tight, and others will find that your hips hardly open, but you can lay your chest on your legs. So through yoga, over time, we do see that balance happens in our body. We're going to do a powerful hip opener. As you come up, go ahead and take your right leg and cross it over your left. The left leg can stay straight, or if you prefer, you can fold it in. I'll leave that up to you. Sitting up nice and tall, we're going to hook our right leg and our left arm, and we're going to turn and twist. Remember to sit. bit of a video glitch. It only wanted to film for 30 minutes, so I'm going to try to combine these two. So let's go ahead and have our right leg straight and bring our left foot across, gathering the knee to the chest and looking back. If this is a good stretch for you, stay here, but if you prefer, you can bring your right leg folded in and stretch again. The trick with this pose when you bring the legs in is that you need to keep your seat bones on the floor. So this is a tighter hip for me, this left hip is. It's easier for me to keep both hips on the floor when I'm facing forward. When I twist, I have to concentrate a great deal to keep those seat bones on the floor. Breathe into those hips. These muscles take a long time to relax and increase our flexibility. And before we go to our backs, I'd like us to go into cobbler's pose one more time. See if you feel a difference between when we first started and now. Hopefully you'll feel your hips have loosened up a little bit. Perhaps greater flexibility on the second cobbler. And coming up, since I don't have a cameraman yet, I'm going to turn to the side here. We're going to come onto our backs. Go ahead and put your knees together, your feet are slightly apart. Take some deep breaths in. Let your belly fill with air. Move your feet close to your bottom. We'll get ready for bridge pose. Lifting the hips, hands come underneath, fold your shoulders under, and lift. Make sure that you have the ability to move your neck and don't feel a lot of pressure. If you feel pressure in your neck, don't go up as high. If your neck is comfortable, lift your hips as high as you can, taking care that the legs do not splay apart, but the knees are pointing toward the ceiling. Hips lifted high. Back bends are invigorating and strengthening. When we come out of this pose, we're going to come out very slowly. First, we'll release our hands, and then we're going to come down one vertebrae at a time. Starting from your cervical through your thoracic, all the way to the lumbar spine. Knees come together. Let's relax. Hands on your belly, a couple of deep breaths. Let's do bridge pose one more time. Clasp your hands underneath as you lift, tucking the shoulders and reaching high. And again, come down slowly, one vertebrae at a time, pressing into the mat. And pull your knees to your chest. We're going to circle to the left, and then to the right. Let's take our right knee to the chest, left leg comes up. We're going to point and flex as you lower the left leg to the floor. When the leg reaches the floor, take a moment to shift your weight. You should be able to feel your hip bones on the floor and both shoulder blades. If you're leaning to one side or the other, change your balance. From here, our left leg comes across our body and our right arm reaches out. You're aiming the shoulder toward the floor. You want to feel a good twist in your back and opening in your shoulder and chest. Last time. Pull the right knee up and the left. This time, hold your left leg. Right leg comes up, points and flex as you slowly lower to the floor. And again, when you reach the floor, check your balance. This is also a pose. If it's more comfortable for you to hold underneath the leg, feel free to do so. And then we're going to come across the body, looking to the left. We'll roll out. Knees come together, feet are slightly apart. Our hands on the belly, and we're going to take some deep breaths here. From here, we can go into resting pose, stretch your legs out, wherever is comfortable for your feet. Hands come away from the body. Roll your head from side to side. You may want to change your shoulder blades, roll them under you. And you can relax here as long as you like. When you're ready, wiggle your fingers and toes, rolling to the side, and pressing up into a comfortable seated position, cross-legged, or whatever is comfortable for you. Namaste. Thank you so much for testing this video. I can't wait to hear your feedback. Be very honest. Let me know if it was too easy, too hard, too long, too short, and how your body felt afterwards. Thank you.